Well, hi there, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Real Estate Investing. I'm your host, Sharon Vornholt, and I'm so happy you're tuning in today. My guest today is my friend and the co-founder of Carrot, Trevor Mauch. And we are going to talk about how real estate investors can effectively generate leads online, which is a huge topic. Now, anyone, I'd say everyone in the real estate investing space is familiar with the name Trevor Mauch and the Carrot websites. I was one of the earliest customers, and I'm still a customer today. It's the only done-for-you website that I recommend to my students and to other investors that I know in the real estate investing space. Trevor is an entrepreneur. He's passionate about entrepreneurship. In fact, we did a number of just entrepreneurial shows a few years back, and I'll put a link to those shows in the show notes because they're still great content. So welcome to the show, Trevor.
Sharon, thanks for having me back. And those episodes on the entrepreneurial topic, those are fun. Those are the ones I'm most passionate about because, the topic we'll talk about today, actually, the reason we do this stuff, the evergreen marketing, is to get you to a business of freedom and impact. And so the mindset ones are fun. Thank you.
They were fun, and this was actually before CarrotCast. That's been a little hot minute.
It has been.
Well, I hit on the high points, but I like your backstory. I like for you to tell everybody about your background a little bit and what led you to found Carrot.
Yeah, it's a good question. So I got into real estate originally way back, would have been 2004. And so I'm 39 now. So that, puts me in, I think it's sophomore, junior year in college. And I remember, this sounds way corny, but I remember seeing like the infomercials, the Carlton Sheets infomercials for no money down. And I had family members say, oh, that's not real stuff. That doesn't actually happen. But then I had my dad, who's always been a really, really positive influence in my life. He believed in me. And so he ended up buying the course. And I remember one day he didn't have any intention to use it, but he bought the course and gave it to me and said, hey, if you buy a property using this in this next year, you don't have to pay me back. But if you don't, you gotta give me $500. And so we made a deal. And I ended up using that course to buy my first rental property at 21 years old, no money, no credit. And I still have that property today, a little 4-unit apartment building up by the college, cash flowed from day one, owner carry. Note that it was a 30-year note, owner carry. I still have 10 years left in that note today. And that kind of got me into the real estate game. And from there, I've just continued to buy and hold. I'm mainly a buy and hold guy. I have done wholesale transactions and flips with partners of ours at Carrot, but I just love marketing. I love like using the craft of marketing, of creating a message that gets in front of somebody that they can, that grabs their attention and truly guides them towards something that can solve the problem that they're having. And when we do really, really good marketing, we actually are solving problems with that marketing. And so after I graduated college, moved up to Portland, Oregon with my wife, and she was going to college. And I'm like, I don't know what I want to do, but I know I don't want to get a job. And so I gave myself a year to try to figure this entrepreneur thing out. And, right after college, and it was hard. It was a really, really hard year and a half. I mean, really 2 years. And I remember a lot of times in that first year. I mean, even today still, like it never ends as you hit different levels, but I remember a lot in that first year going, man, like, does this thing actually work? Can I make it work? What am I missing? What's wrong with me? All those types of things. And I made a few mindset shifts. I'll kind of fast forward through some of it. We can go in as deep as you want to through some of it. But it ended up leading me to the internet and to go in this was in 2008, where I started to do experiments with a mortgage company and on the real estate side to go, can I get good leads through the internet? And can I make them to where they come to me rather than me having to go to them? And that kind of led on a, 5, 6, 7 year journey of just getting very, very good at learning how to attract high motivated prospects online through Google primarily, how to convert them into really high quality leads once they got to the website, and then how to turn the leads from really, really from leads to really, really high profit deals and transactions on the back end. And in that experience, roundabout way, in 2012, after 4 or 5 years of that learning and generating hundreds and hundreds of thousands of real estate related leads online, mostly through Google, I did some consulting for other big non-real estate companies executing the same thing. I got burnt out. I was just burnt out. I'd built a business I didn't enjoy. I'd built a business that drained more of my energy than it gave.
Mhm.
And in that moment in 2012, I just said, you know what, either I've got to change my business to be able to give me back more energy and have like a purpose that hits me in my core that I'm excited about, or I'm going to change out of this business. And when I chose to change out of the business, I was already generating a lot of leads for investors. We had a bunch of websites up that I just kind of built for them. And I just saw, man, there's a big opportunity. In the decade from 2002 through 2012, it was all about just getting online, right? That's when you saw GoDaddy's pop up and Wix and Weebly and Squarespace and WordPress, and everybody could get online. The problem wasn't that you can on how to get online. The problem was actually getting performance from that website once you got online. And so I said, I think there's something here. And in 2014, we 2013, end of 2013, we started a beta product of Carrot. And today our clients generate about 800,000 inbound leads every single year. Most of them motivated house sellers, most of them through Google searches. And they close hundreds of millions of dollars in transactions from those leads every year through the Carrot platform. So it was solving a problem I had, and I saw the problem that other people had, and it's been very successful since.
That's what this business is about. At the end of the day, it's about solving problems, but you can't get there. You can't find the people with the problems if you can't nail the marketing piece. That's the piece we're kind of in the marketing business too, because the two go so intricately together. So that was 2013. What was was that the year Carrot started? Because I've been around pretty much since the beginning, and I don't even remember how long it's been.
I could probably find out. I can look up the account and find out. Yeah. So the idea of Carrot and kind of like the predecessor to Carrot was actually 2014. And it was named something different. It was called REI Theme, like a WordPress theme, because that's all it was at the time. It was literally a WordPress theme that we would manually set up for you. And then we discovered something was working. And we wanted to be able to rebrand it away from something that pigeonholed us just to real estate investors. Because we said, this isn't just a real estate investor problem. This is like an all small business problem, or an all, any business is a high margin service business. If you lose one deal in a high margin service business, like an investor, it might be a $25,000 profit. If you lose one deal because you're going it cheap with a cheap website, and I'll give you an example. And the button size and the words on that opt-in button are not the right words, and you didn't know any better. Your web designer designs things to look pretty. They don't know any better on the conversion side. If you lose one deal a year from that, you're losing 25 grand a year. But most people are losing far more deals than that. And so that's where we really said, let's make this shift. We see a big opportunity. It can help any small business or any high margin service business. We happen to specialize deeply in the real estate market.
I use almost those same words with people when they say, oh, I've built out this website or this page or whatever. And I'll say, look, I had a lot of pretty websites. Did they get me leads? Not so much. And that's one of the sticking points I tell them about Carrot is you don't have to spend all that time and that money and all that failure to try to get it right, because you all have done the work to know, for instance, where to put the opt-in box, leave it where it is, leave the buttons where they are, and you can customize it, but don't change the format of the site because it's all there for a reason. So I wanted to talk a little bit about online marketing, the components, the different components like SEO, content marketing, and other forms of digital marketing, because I firmly believe, we are content creators. So it's, look, we think that way, but a lot of people don't think that way. But I believe you need a multifaceted way to get leads. And content marketing, though, in my opinion, is the way that you build your expert status. It is the way you become the standout in the marketing. And for me, I think then you start to layer in the other components to build your marketing machine, so to speak.
100%. The way I like to look at it right now, Sharon, is is anytime there's a market that's really competitive, right? So if you're a real estate investor, when the market is going up, like it had, the last, 7-8 years, when a market's going up, a lot of people want to be in that market, right? And so you end up just like crypto. When crypto was going up, everybody piles into crypto. When crypto is going down, people start to run out of it. And the same thing kind of happens as an agent, as an investor, is you have a higher inflow of people that come in when the market's doing great, so, which is awesome, but that also creates more competition. And so if you're a brand new investor or you've been around for 30 years, you're still competing against a lot more people today than there maybe were a decade ago. And so the question is like, how do we stand out? Well, there's a couple different things I'll kind of walk you guys through on how to stand out, whether you're a brand new investor, a brand new agent, or an experienced investor, experienced agent. The first thing is we've got to have really good positioning. Now, this is one of the things, honestly, Sharon, that the most investors and agents completely ignore. So if you're a wholesaler or a flipper of houses, land, mobile homes, whatever it is, most investors will step out there with the same positioning as every other investor in the market, which is, I can make you a cash offer, I can close quickly, and there's no fees, and avoid the hassles with an agent. That's great. That's really good positioning. But when every other competitor in the market's saying the same thing, it really only comes down to one thing for that prospect when they're juggling. Shoot, I've got 3 people that sent me postcards or letters, 2 that cold called or text me, and I've got 3 websites I've looked at. Which one are they going to choose? Well, if they all have the same positioning, then they're going to choose the one they trust the most, right? They're going to choose the one that, okay, it looks like they know what they're doing. So it goes towards expertise, or what we call authority. And it looks like there's less risk going with this person because of what I found about them online and things like that. And so I'm going to talk positioning first, then we're going to go to the online part. But the positioning, I think, is one of the bigger opportunities. If we look at Open Door or OfferPad as an example, the big iBuyers, right? All that they did is they took a service that has been around for decades, which is buying a house directly for cash, which is what people listening to this call are doing, and what Sharon's been doing for a long, long time, way longer than Open Door has. And so they took an industry that had been around for a while and came in with new positioning. They said, we're going to give you an instant cash offer right here on this page. We're going to, our positioning is we're a national brand with all kinds of money, and you can trust us because we're this fancy national brand that has nice tech, Silicon Valley, good design and all this stuff. And we're going to make it to where it's seamless for you. And a lot of it's kind of based on your phone, right? So that their positioning was a better process. They wanted to make the process better. And in their eyes, removing some of the bad elements of what it might be to work with, the traditional wholesaler investor. There's another company out there, Sunday, S-U-N, let me look it up, S-U-N-D-A-E, I think it is. Sunday, SUNDAE.com. They've raised like $80 million in venture funding. And literally, like, I'm looking at the top of their site, it says sell as is, fast for the best price. Compare cash offers from vetted local investors, no repairs, updates, showings, pay 0 fees. So that's a similar CTA, right? But then as you go down in there, their main thing is they're saying we're trying to cut wholesalers out. Like that's their whole business. They've been funded with almost $100 million in funding. So they have a positioning statement of saying we're trying to cut the middleman out to put more money in your pocket. For you as an investor, how are we going to adjust our positioning statement to compete against other investors and in these big venture funded companies? We totally can. So against Open Door, a lot of our clients, they're actually winning because they are local. They know the market better. Oftentimes they can pay more for a property where Open Door's algorithm shows it's low because it's on this side of the street versus this side. And the local investor knows this side's more valuable, as an example. Or you can be that mom and pop person who has a chance to go over there and meet the person and your kids with you. And it's just that mom and pop experience versus the corporate thing. So there's a lot of things that we can do to really stand out and do better positioning. One last thing on positioning is you could make your positioning about your experience if you've done some deals and your ability to solve their problem. I've seen other companies where their positioning is the hybrid, right? And I think that's the part that is very attractive right now is your positioning is we can put the most money in your pocket no matter what.
Yeah.
And let's just chat with you and see what the options are. Either we can list it on the market for you. If you're okay with, waiting for a little while, and here's our fee, or we can buy it for cash for speed and convenience. Either way, we've got you. And so that's the thing I want to challenge everyone listening to this on is you got to look at everyone around you in your market and say, if a seller were to connect with me or see my website or see my marketing versus these other 9, why would they choose me? And there should be a very clear, compelling reason why.
I agree with that. And I like to tell people that I work with, marketing is how you get leads, but branding is why they choose you. So you take your positioning, you choose your branding. You have to get different. You have to get different than the next guy. And your branding, if you think about it, it is the physical attributes. There are physical attributes of your brand, but at the end of the day, it's how you make people feel. Do they trust you? What is it about you that is different than the next guy? But you can totally do that. And even a brand new real estate investor can do that. They can find out, or an agent, what is it about you that makes you special, that makes you unique, that makes you different? But once you kind of marry marketing and branding, then you've got your own little super juice there.
Oh, big time. Big time.
So what about SEO? So in content marketing, one of the things I love about Carrot is not everyone wants to write content, and you have the plan there that has the content written for you. Can they take advantage of that and stand out in their market? Do they tweak the content? How does that work for them?
Yeah. So let me kind of, for the audience, break down the SEO side of it. And kind of, first of all, build a case for why we focus so much on helping our clients get leads through Google searches. The first thing, we ran a bunch of studies, and we have the data behind it. Number one, anytime anyone goes to Google, whether it's on their cell phone or their computer, and they type a phrase like "sell my house fast," Roseburg, sell a house for cash, or cash home buyers in Oregon, or we buy houses and blah, in any of those phrases where someone has high intent to sell their home. That person's actively seeking out a solution, right? They're actively seeking out a solution. They're very, very motivated. When you compare that against, let's say, going to a data provider and buying a big direct mail list, which works. Okay. I'm not going to, any of the marketing methods I'll talk about, they all work, but they're different. They're going to create a different business for you. So you go buy the data, you go send out the direct mail, you cold call, you text. What happens is you're grabbing a massive, massive group of people who may have an indication that they may possibly want to have a property sell. And then you send it out, very, very low response rates, but they work. But then next is you end up getting people like hate mail and text messages and people writing things back in your direct mail. Once again, they all work. They all work. But the lead to deal close ratio on direct mail, cold calling, radio, TV versus SEO organic leads is far different. I'll kind of walk you through that. So on the radio, TV side of things, it's about 1 in 40 to 1 in 60 leads turns into a deal. So we put out a TV ad, radio ad, they go to that thing, or they call. 1 in 60 of those people will even turn into a deal. Now, the reason this is important is if you have to go through more leads to close a deal, what happens to your time? What happens to your staff, your budget? All of a sudden, you have to now staff up to pay people to sift through all these bad leads. Like you're paying people to go through bad leads that you're paying to get. Or you have to answer 60 phone calls yourself to get that one deal at dinner time, at 11 o'clock at night, at whatever time. So now let's go down to direct mail. Direct mail is about 1 in 20 to 1 in 40 leads into a deal. It's more targeted. It's better. But same thing, you've got to sift through about 40 leads to get one of those deals. Once again, it works. If it's working for you, keep doing it, right? Keep doing it. But then you go down to, text message marketing is around there. You go down to Facebook ads. Facebook ads work great, but also the person on Facebook is not seeking out a solution. They're seeking out looking at their friend's cat or getting distracted or whatever. And so Facebook ads work great for sellers, but it's about 1 in 20 to 1 in 30 leads turns into a deal on Facebook ads. So it's getting better. It's getting better, right? Now we go to Google pay-per-click. It's about 1 in 10 to 1 in 20 leads turns into a deal. So we're going, okay, there's a lot fewer leads. 1/3 of the amount of the lead volume is required to turn into deals over there. We go to SEO, it's about 1 in 5 to 1 in 15 leads that turn into a deal. We started a new campaign in Louisville, Kentucky. It was last spring, and this is not normal, but it's happened a lot, both for me and for others. Is we launched a campaign, a Google pay-per-click campaign in Louisville, and it was start to finish 3 weeks from the time we launched the campaign to the time it was cash in the bank, not just under contract, cash in the bank to get our first deal. That's not normal. Okay, that's not normal, but it happened for us there, and it was a $54,000 profit deal. We took that money and then we reinvested into that while our SEO was building in that market. But the reason that we love SEO leads and Google pay-per-click leads to start is because the quality of the lead is so much higher. You have to sift through fewer leads to close a deal. And not just that, Sharon, but this is another cool stat that we have from hundreds of our customers that filled out a survey, is the actual profit per deal on SEO related leads, and even into the PPC side of things, is over twice as high than the average profit per deal that they were getting through direct mail and other methods. Is in this survey, the average profit per deal was $23,000 on the methods coming from Carrot, and their average profit per deal in their other methods was 9,000, just under 10. And it's because of the lead quality and the motivation. That's why we do SEO. So going into the what and the why, the first thing, if you guys were to write down a few kind of tactical tips here, the first thing is, and this is what a lot of people ignore, is one of the best things to focus on first that anybody can do, and it's a slam dunk with Carrot, is you get ranked really well for anything related around your brand. Okay, so if your company name is ABC Property Buyers and you're in Duluth, do a Google search and type up ABC Property Buyers Duluth and see what comes up. And we want to make sure that you're controlling that brand search, that when people search that, when they're doing a Google search or they see your ad or they see your direct mail, that you're actually building credibility and trust right there. That alone is going to help you lead to more deals. And your Carrot website on your about page would be optimized for your company name plus the word reviews or about or something like that. And we want to make sure that you're ranking really high with your own website with testimonials, credibility, and a good about page that is going to help people build trust and credibility. Get a Google My Business page up there, get reviews on it. That alone is going to win you multiple extra deals every single year. So focus on your brand search first. And the reason for this, guys, when we're going back to marketing, is a lot of people focus on, I need to get traffic or I need to get leads first. No. You should always start at what I call the decision phase. Okay. When someone is ready to make a decision, when someone's ready to make a decision to work with you or work with someone else, or ready to make a decision to solve their problem, what do? If we're going to buy a TV or a car, what we usually do is we start really, really broad, right? We go, hey, best TVs 2022. And we do that in Google. And then we read someone's blog post, right? Because we're doing research. And that blog post might have a top 10 and they've got their top 2 recommendations. I'm like, cool, I like the top 2. So I'm narrowing my searches. Now I'm going to go, okay, I've got these 2 alternatives now. I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to type up Samsung, whatever model number reviews. And I'm going to type up Sony, whatever model number reviews. Now I'm going to go find those websites that are ranking high and read the reviews on those products. Then I'm going to go figure out the best place to buy that product. Now, how am I going to choose where to buy the product? It's whatever makes me feel the most comfortable, like I'm actually going to get the TV and I'm not going to get ripped off. So I'm going to go to Amazon. How do you choose which TV or which service to buy? It's the one that's most reputable. They've got a lot of reviews. They've got, they make it easy to engage and easy to get the right information to know that I'm buying the right thing. And when we're looking at sellers or buyers, it's the same darn thing. It's the same thing. So people are going to start broad. They're going to say, sell my house or whatever, or sell my house companies or whatever it is. And then they're going to narrow it down. And then there's 3 company names that they have from this direct mail piece from that person online. They're going to type company name X reviews, company name Y reviews, company name Z reviews. Now that's going to dictate the decision they're making. And so we focus on decision first. And now we're going to focus on getting new traffic. And so the very next thing that you should do on the SEO side of things, after you've nailed building that credibility and trust and ranking really well for anything around your company name, brand, or your name, is then we build out what we call location pages. And so if you look at Zillow or LoopNet.com or Realtor.com, Zillow is pretty much always like number one or number two in Google for any search that's a retail buyer search. Homes for sale in Roseburg, right? Zillow is always going to be the number one or number two at the city level. LoopNet.com is always going to be number one or number two for commercial real estate investment property searches. Commercial investment properties for sale in Portland. They're almost always going to be number one or number two. Now, when you search a phrase like sell my house fast, insert any city, or home buyers, insert any city, or cash home buyers, or we buy houses, insert any city or state, you're going to find Carrot clients overwhelmingly own those results. So right. It's Zillow, LoopNet, Carrot. And the way that we do that is with location pages, the same way Zillow does it, the same way LoopNet does it. It's not their homepage that's ranked for all those states and cities. It's a page set up specifically for that city or that state that has the content for that city or that state optimized in a certain way. We help you do that with our tools. And then that gets on the internet. And when you put it on an effective website that's built the right way, that loads really fast, that's structured the right way, that has the right content, that engages people when they're on the website and get them to stay there, like we've built the websites with backed by data, then you end up getting your website ranked higher. So we start with brand search and then build location pages.
So help me understand here. So it's not the homepage of your website. You need the location page in addition.
Yeah. So here's the caveat to it. So Zillow, LoopNet, Realtor.com, they're national websites, right? They are intentionally saying, hey, we're covering the whole nation.
Right.
If you're national or regional, or let's say you invest in an entire state, you want to have your homepage be the most broad location that you do business in. So if you're in Florida,
like Louisville,
yeah, exactly. So if I'm in Louisville and if I'm in 5 other cities in Kentucky, my homepage, I'm going to have focus on Kentucky. I'm going to say, hey, we buy houses all around Kentucky, including down in the content, including Louisville and this and this and this and this. And then we're going to have a page for Louisville. We're going to have a page for city B and a page for city C and a page for city D. Yep.
Yeah, that's the way I understood it to be. So if I'm only working in one city, then that's no problem. But if you're working in different areas, that's one thing that is fabulous about Carrot. It'll pull up those specific pages. If you type in buy my house in Louisville, or if I work in Lexington, then I would need a specific page for Lexington, but it loads the correct page. And that is brilliant of Carrot.
Cool. Yeah. And that's one of the important parts. So that next part of the SEO, the location pages are kind of the secret sauce. And that's what we've really pioneered in this industry and why our clients are winning. And you can do this stuff, guys and gals, like outside of Carrot. It just is way harder. And unless you're an SEO expert, a tech expert, and those types of things, it's going to be way harder to compete with our tool. The last part of it now goes into what you had mentioned before, which is the blogs. Right. And so after we've got what we call those core conversion pages, that's your home page, your about page, your reviews page, contact page, things like that. Once you've got those nailed and you've built credibility and trust on them, and those are helping to rank for your brand searches and in converting your prospects to customers, right? Then you build your first 5 or 6 location pages. Just pick any city that you're going to buy houses in. And then you launch one for those. And then whatever state you're in, launch a page that's optimized for your state. We don't have time in this podcast to dive into the detail of what that should look like. We teach it all over at Carrot and it's built into our system. But then next you go, cool, now let's build authority. Let's build that expertise. And that's where consistent content posted on your website is really important to Google in their eyes. And so we have the automated content system where our team does the research to say, what are buyers searching? What are motivated sellers searching every month? And then our team writes the articles, and then you can log into your system and schedule up these articles that are slightly spun towards your location. We put your company name in there, your location in there, your phone number, and you can edit them and customize them even more to stand out. And you post one of those a week, then that keeps that kind of flywheel going of fresh content. And we have a lot of people that are getting those ranked well in Google. Like if you're to search a phrase like, selling a house I inherited in Birmingham or something like that, you're going to find a lot of those phrases around the country Carrot clients own with those automated blog posts. And that's kind of those very niche-y type of things. And when you have those three pieces of content, your core conversion pages for trust, credibility, and conversion, the location pages to cast a wider net to then rank high in Google for the cities you want to buy houses in to bring new leads in. And then you have the blog posts on a weekly basis that are automated through our tool, or you can write yourself if you wanted to. Most people don't, or use our video post feature, which takes your YouTube videos and makes them a written article for you that Google loves. Once you have that, you have this amazing, what I call an authority hub. Now, when people land on this site, you're building authority, you're standing out. And we're finding that our clients are getting a far higher lead to conversion rate, lead to closed deal rate than other websites in the industry.
So is it safe to say that you said, let me ask you this. If you put it all down into a sentence, what is Carrot's superpower?
Yeah, I think the superpower is performance. It's at the end of the day, anybody can launch a website, right? Like anybody can go to Wix, Weebly, Squarespace. Anybody can. People have their cousin Eddie who can launch a WordPress site for them, or hey, I know this web designer down the road that makes amazing, pretty websites. Anybody can do that. But what we focus on our superpower is performance. We make it work better, so you stop losing those $20,000 deals 5 times a year. That's our superpower.
And I think that's what makes Carrot better than all the other competitors. You have an all-in-one, like to say you have it done for your website, but you really have an all-in-one solution for the problems that people encounter when they're missing all the pieces. You're missing this piece over here and this piece over there. Yep. I wanted to close this out because I remember something you said in one of the other shows, and it's always kind of stuck with me, and I always you pop in my head all the time. I remember one time you said, we were talking about entrepreneurship, and you said that you found out that you were the cog in the wheel, that you needed to get out of the way and trust other people to do the job. That's a hard one, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
And it's hard. But in doing that, you get your time back. And I think about that so often, because when I hesitate to get rid of something, then it pops in my head. I literally hear you saying that you were the cog in the wheel. And I found myself in that place so many times. So how can you share maybe one piece of advice for real estate investors and agents, other entrepreneurs, about how not being the cog in the wheel will allow your business to grow faster and bigger?
Yeah, this topic, Sharon, the cool thing about this topic,
that's a whole topic.
Oh my gosh. And you never stop learning on it, because, and you never stop having the challenges. Here's the caveat, if you're wanting to grow, right? And so I'm going to walk you guys through at a high level. I discovered this several years ago, and it's dead on. It's like your business breaks at 3s and 10s revenue wise. So let's say you have $0, you're just getting going, y'all. Okay. It's hard, right? It's very hard. You're at a 0. Okay. It's very hard. But then you start to get the right processes down at 0 to $100,000 in revenue. Your first things that you need to fix and figure out. And at that point, you're probably not delegating anything. You're just trying to get going, get some revenue coming in, right? The first things you're trying to figure out at 0 to 100,000 revenue is, who is my market? Like, who am I going to help? What is my service I'm going to help them with? Right. And that's the biggest thing. And then now, how am I going to get in front of them? And so if you're in that spot where you're just like, man, I haven't even done my first deal, get really clear. Hey, am I clear who I'm helping specifically? These types of sellers. I'm going to go after sellers who are primarily in probate, this, that, and the other, or foreclosures or whatever. And it's in this one city. Okay. Just really get very clear on it. And then pick one marketing method like Carrot or something else, driving for dollars or whatever it is that works for you. Once you get to $100,000, things break again, because what happens is, once you have some money coming in, it's not enough money, it feels like, to hire a full-time person, right? Because you only brought in 100 grand and I had expenses on it. So I can't hire like a $65,000 employee yet. And so now revenue is coming in, I've got leads coming in, and I feel overwhelmed. And so at that point, you have to pull back and do what I call the energy audit. And you go through and figure out what gives you energy in your work and what drains your energy. Circle a thing or two that's draining your energy each quarter, and make it your aim to sit down and document with a Loom video or something what you're doing, and then find a part-time assistant to hand off some of those things to. It could be a VA getting phone calls. It could be doing a bunch of random stuff. That's going to buy you enough time to now get to 300,000 in revenue. Okay. 300,000 in revenue is getting your marketing down. Now, to get to 300,000 revenue, you got to get your marketing down. And now from 300,000 to $1 million is getting your sales down. Okay. So at 300,000, things are going to break again. You're going to get overwhelmed because now you are probably still the person doing all the sales at 300,000 in revenue.
Mhm.
And so the marketing is working, and now you're getting overwhelmed again. So now you need to pull back and document how you're doing sales or how you're doing something else in the business, and then plug someone in to relieve you of that time and energy drain. If it's an energy drain, to broaden out your ability to earn there. Okay. You get to 1 million, things are going to break again. And so it's like every time if you're growing, things are always going to break at the 3s and 10s. And you just have to recognize there's a new, different thing to delegate at each level. At the basic level of 100,000, you're delegating the lowest of low level tasks so you can keep doing what you're doing. At the $300,000 level, you're going to delegate maybe some of the marketing activities, but you're still going to be very, very tied into it. Or delegate some of the sales activities or something else. At 1 million, you're going to be probably adding on maybe another salesperson in there, and you might be delegating. You're just focusing, really documenting what you do and handing it off to people. At 3 million, we had a client we were talking to on the podcast a month ago, Jason Lewis out of Utah, ranked #1 in Google with Carrot, crushes it with direct mail. They're doing about 3 million a year. He was able to get himself about 80% out of the business. He has a weekly call with his COO now. But things broke at every 3 and 0 for him. And at 3 million or at 3 million in revenue, the break there is a leadership break. You need to bring in leaders to take over and step into the functions. You might need like a marketing director or a sales leader or something like that at that point. Then the other levels are higher. But at a high level, I want you guys to lock into this. If things are hard and you're around $100,000 a year in revenue, it should be hard. You need to delegate the basic stuff that are bringing your energy and time down. If things are hard at $300,000 and you're at 350 grand or 295, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed again. I don't like work again. It should be hard because you haven't delegated the right stuff. But then you're going to get the 600 grand, like, oh, life is great again. I got this figured out. If you want to keep growing, things are going to break and it's going to get hard again at 1 million. So just always know there's the next thing to delegate if you're wanting to grow.
That is such good information, Trevor. And I like the way you broke it down with the numbers. Cool. So thanks so much for coming on the show today. And folks, if you're listening to this show, I cannot recommend that you check out Carrot and the Carrot websites more highly. They work. And I'll put a link in the show notes and you can check it out for yourself. You check it out at SharonVornholt.com/Carrot. If you're not sure where to get started, I recommend that you begin with the Content Pro plan, where you get 3 websites and the automated content plan and world-class support. And I really mean this. They are great in the support arena. And there are a million tutorials, even for people that were so terribly tech challenged like myself. And they dug me out of the hole more than a few times. So thanks again, Trevor. And what's the best way for folks to get in touch with you?
Yeah, probably Instagram. I check all my DMs, answer them all back directly. So Trevor.Mauch, that's MAUCH, or our podcast, the Carrot Cast. You can just go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, look up Carrot Cast, find me over there. I talk every Thursday. It's what's called a Trevor Truck Talk. It's when I'm driving home to my house. It's whatever's on my mind, entrepreneurship and life. And every Tuesday, it's an interview with an amazing customer. Great stuff, folks. And thanks to listeners. You all take a listen. And I want to thank everybody that comes out and listens to this show week after week. And if you love this show, and I know you did, please share it and leave us a rating and a review on iTunes. And I will see you guys same time, same place next week. Bye for now. Awesome. Thank you, guys.